I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, 'cause it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello, here we go. The KVJ After the Show podcast. This is Virginia's final show of 2024.
Crazy.
Last time we'll be seeing you, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what's going on here. We are going to be on The Fellas tomorrow, so it'll be one of them pussified shows. Talking feelings. Going to have a very soft edge to it. Yeah.
Emotional man show.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
When I'm not here, they go real soft.
We get soft. We talk about our feelings. It's a safe space for all of us. We just kind of let it all out. It's lovely.
We eat each other out.
Yes.
That's hot.
It is hot.
If you're going to do it, you better make a video.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. We'll have all that fun stuff. So we got all that going to be going down tomorrow. So we will be here, and hopefully our equipment will work. Danny's been working on that. It's just kind of a weird thing. You never know what's going on. Things even break in weird ways around here. It's like the internet was out. I walked in. He's like, yeah, you know, Kev, my computer's not working, and your computer's not working, so all the video and audio you sent me, we can't access, and you can't access this and that, and your prep and the show, and so so that was kind of like, all right, well, let's see what we can do here. So we made it through somehow. I'm getting great at doing technically challenged shows, actually. I don't know what I'm going to do when our equipment works in the new studio.
I know Dennis doesn't drink that much, but that man might be drinking tonight. And I'll gladly buy it for him. Dog, it's on me.
I'm drinking today. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Our internet has been out, and so it's been just awful.
That's just crazy. So the emails that you have sent to us, we really can't get to those today, but that's okay. We will make up for those tomorrow. And it's actually perfect, and it works out great because we have a guest that I really wanted to spend most of our time with today. I think it's going to be very fascinating. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a while. Virginia, you did a podcast with Jeff, Spirits Talk, and I am fascinated by this because, look, I grew up in a very religious family. And it's kind of an interesting thing because where my family is, we believe in the Holy Spirit and spiritual things, and it was always a warning to me. The deepest kind of warning of do not dabble with this kind of stuff. Ouija boards and spirits and all those kind of things, dark entities. My mom had kind of a spiritual connection. She was the most spiritual person. She would sense things, feel things. She had a connection to me that was crazy. I've told you the one story, the time where she was woken up like a bolt of lightning hit her, and she's like, my son is in trouble. And she got out of bed and got on the ground, started praying, and she looked at the clock. And just so happened that was the exact minute that I was booked into jail. And so
Drunk and disorderly, nothing serious.
Yeah.
No murder one or anything.
Right, but she knew it. Like God spoke to her. It was amazing. All the times that I was an asshat. I was just always causing problems. But every time she knew. She'd be like, you got into something last night. She had a spiritual connection. Something was talking to her.
She must have been on her knees a lot praying for you.
Oh, she was. She did. Poor woman had terrible knees all because of me.
Now, did it work the other way when good things would happen? Would she get a message, for example, when you cut your mullet? Did she get out of bed and go, oh, finally?
Thank God.
Thank God.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, right.
His bad mullet haircut's
Yes.
gone.
Yeah, it was always just there was a connection. She just had a feeling with me, and it was other people as well. She just kind of really had that, and she had believed that at some point when I was a young child, I was too young to really remember that she had been healed. She had one leg that was shorter than the other, and we had a preacher at the time that it looked like he had healed some people. And look, some people believe in it, some people don't, but she firmly believed that right there on that stage, her leg grew. It was about a half inch, and that I remember she used to have to wear special shoes, and she didn't have to wear them anymore. So she believed that she had been healed. So spiritual power and faith and all that stuff was something that she really believed in. But in the Bible, they talk a little bit about, in fact, there was, one point where there was Saul who called up the spirits to get some insight into battle. And basically it was like, no, you don't do this. Like, you don't use a medium this is just something, there needs to be a divide between the real world and the spirit world. You don't conjure it up. You don't ask for it. And then the next day on the battlefield, Saul died.
Oh.
And that was kind of and that's the one lesson that had always come out of it, was be very careful with this stuff. But they always talk about spiritual gifts in the church, and people have them. Some people are giving, some people are intuitive, some people just, you look at that, it's like we have love languages. We're all different. And so when a church is really good, they find people's spiritual gifts and try to put them in the right place. It's like just a good job would do. So I believe there are people that are spiritually in tune, and they have that gift. It is a power. And I think it's something that you can develop. And as we've talked about it on this show, I've been fascinated with some of the conversations we'd had from rainbow children that they see spirits. One of the most intriguing calls we ever got was this person that could see spirits. She said it was more of a curse than it was a blessing.
Wow.
Because everywhere she went, she saw spirits just walking, talking. And, you start blurting this out, people are like, they think you're crazy.
Yeah.
But what she would see sometimes was very disturbing, because you would see the good and the bad. And I remember her telling us a story about she saw somebody look very troubled walking down the street, and she saw them, and there was a dark, shadowy figure that was whispering in their ear. And I thought, gosh, that to me, that's powerful, because you look at people that get twisted and turned by life, and my personal beliefs, I believe that evil energy, the devil, whatever you want to call it,
temporary demonic possession.
they are working to bring out the worst in you. And I
Right.
think as humans, we have all got a bit of the good and the evil. And, the Star Wars trilogy is fascinating because it really goes into that in a secular way, talking about that, where you have people that are turned good or evil. We all have that ability to go one way or the other, and it can get away from you super fast. So you have these entities working against you. And talking to Jeff a little bit, and he was at the Little Smiles dinner, I got to sit with him, walking through his gifts and his abilities, to me is very fascinating. I'm intrigued with that because I do believe in psychics and mediums, and I believe they have powers. I believe there's a lot of shysters, and a lot of people are trying to take advantage of that.
Sure.
And to me, you can see people that do it the right way. And Jeff, we were just having a conversation a second ago about how this began, because you weren't born this way. You weren't what we would call a rainbow child, were you? Where you would see
I'm an
spirits?
indigo. Yeah, I'm an indigo
really?
child. That was I was told that later in sessions that I was in with other mediums, like coaching, if you will. And they're like, when you were little, you had this gift, and I did, but we were Southern Baptist, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You
right.
weren't
And-
allowed to
we
explore
weren't allowed to
it.
explore it. So
Gotcha.
Right. My whole family we were Southern Baptists. And so it's something that, especially Southern Baptists, they're very, and I get it, because look, it's some dangerous stuff where they just would put up the wall of Southern Baptists are like, anything could take you to the devil, we don't do it. We don't dance, we don't drink, we
dance
don't
near it.
smoke.
and I'm a dancer.
Yeah,
And he's a dancer.
Right. Spirit stuff. So Southern Baptists are very much against that stuff. They just wall off anything that could take you down that path, and they don't let their kids touch it, and they come down on you
Right.
if you do. And so they wouldn't want to entertain this because it gets into a world that's scary for them.
Well, I can tell you, when I came out to my parents a second time, so basically I told them what I was able to do, and my mom sat me down and said, well, when you were a little kid, you would be in the grocery store and you would tug on somebody's skirt and say that their mom is here or whatever, and it freaked my mom out so bad that she went to her pastor at her church,
Yeah.
and they sent me to like this kind of like in-church
Deprogramming.
deprogramming thing
Yeah.
to deprogram the, if you cannot tell, the gay. And
He's gay and he talks to ghosts. Oh, shit.
Right, yeah.
so then I guess throughout my early life, I forgot about it, because,
You've been deprogrammed.
right. But on 9/11, my cousin, Mark Bingham, died on Flight 93.
Oh, wow.
And
He was on the plane.
the plane, Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So that day, I'm at my house, and I keep on thinking about him all day long. And now it's been 15 years since I've seen him. All of a sudden, his sister calls me, Kelly, and I go, hey, Kelly, I've been thinking of little Jerry all day long. She goes, Jeff, he died today on Flight 93.
Wow.
So after that time, I started getting panic attacks, like anxiety and whatever. And I started to kind of go to therapy to kind of help with that because it was debilitating.
Yeah.
So then come to the Long Island Medium. And she started coming on like 2009, maybe.
Was this daytime TV that she was on?
Teresa Caputo.
Teresa Caputo. It was at nighttime.
I remember the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's the big blonde.
She had the hair.
Who's the person with the O? Who's got an O name? Yeah, that's her.
I remember. Yeah, I remember her name.
But now,
yeah.
So I'd watch her show, and I would feel like a feeling. It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever had an energy where you feel things like you know something's going to happen and then it happens.
Yeah, these
But you get
premonitions,
kind of
yeah.
like a little bit of a ping or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd go, I think that guy died in a car accident. And then I'm with my friend, and she talks about it. My husband died in a car accident. And I go, oh, my God.
I was
and then,
right.
And then my brain felt something. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
And then
Is it like a thought?
it's
like
a
person
thought.
Would have a
so
thought?
basically, it's like charades. So
Yeah.
basically, when I get a name, I usually get a reference point. So say that somebody's name is Carol, right?
Yeah.
I'll think about my friend Carol, and then I'll get like a little, like a ping or something, like a thought in my head. And then it comes through
It's
my
not.
voice.
It's not a clear message, is it? Or do you have to start putting together context clues? Is it like
If
you
it's a
would
big
see-
message.
like you might see a key, and then you would see
Right.
and you're like, well, what does
Right.
this mean? Where is this taking
like
me?
if it's a baby that died, I'll see baby shoes. And if it's a boy, it's blue. If it's a girl, it's pink.
Wow.
But it goes like that.
Is it clear? Is it hazy? And you say it's just in and out of your head like that?
It all depends on how strong that energy is that needs to come through.
Okay.
So if this baby died at birth or whatever, right?
Yep.
And the mom is not having a great time with it and having a real hard time struggling, it comes through stronger and it uses more of my energy to get more messages for that person.
Yep.
But if I get somebody that wants to come into me that wants to know where did you leave the watch for mom, whatever, you know, they don't use as much of my energy, and it's harder for me to connect with that energy because they're not going to drain me just to tell you where a watch is because
Who cares?
you know what I'm saying?
It's a
It's not
stupid
important.
watch. Right, right, right.
Unless that watch led to murder.
Well, you know, so basically, in my head, it's like, do you know when you go to like gamble and you do the slot machine?
Yeah.
And there's cherries and whatever.
Yep.
In my head, it's letters. So if someone's name is Adam, it'll go, "Brrr," and I'll see 4 boxes, and then it's like the lever turns, and then it starts to turn,
Yep.
and I'll say, is it A, the first letter of your friend? And I go, is it 4 letters?
So
Yes.
that is when you see psychics and
I
mediums
see
doing
it
that.
inside my head.
That is something that okay. So
Yeah.
that's why they do that.
Right. It's almost like, just imagine me being a speaker and the spirit is the song that comes through my speaker. It doesn't know what it is. It just comes through because it's able to. Make sense?
Yeah.
So
You're the delivery method
of it, right?
But you're not creating the message. You're just trying to pass it
right.
through.
But people go to a medium sometimes wanting specific things. And I remember years ago I did a reading for Jason, and I felt like I failed him so much because I didn't get that much. And the one thing that I got was his number of his jersey when he was in baseball.
Baseball. Yeah.
And I left that thing going, I feel so terrible.
Oh, please do not.
But I did because I wanted to prove myself. But when you're trying to prove yourself, you're not as good. Because your
Right.
ego gets involved.
Right.
And that is what happens. The girl before you was off the chain. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
You know, because she came in, I didn't know who she was, but I knew you. And do you remember when I first met you was at the hair salon and I washed your hair and Virginia goes, I want you to be really rude and say like, your head is making me like, so like.
No, that's cool.
Do you remember that?
Virginia, what?
I had just-
I don't remember
No, this
that.
was you in the shampoo bowl.
And you were looking up at him like,
I'm like, okay, she made me do this to you. Da, 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 da. You remember
Well,
that? It wasn't very on. It was like, this is a long. He was like 2004.
It's not your fault. She's the fucking asshole.
But she goes, I want you to shampoo his hair, and I want you to be really rude and really like. And I was.
That's awesome.
And I'm like,
Just
I
for
can't
fun?
do it. I can't do it.
Just for fun?
I think I blocked it out, honestly.
Yeah, because I was going like
Just a
this in
mess.
your head,
just to mess with him.
and I go, he thinks I'm weird. So,
No, I did not.
but.
It's
That
all right. She
has
tried to
always,
have me
because I've told
executed.
Virginia, that's always affected me that I didn't get to get your mom like I wanted to. But because I wanted to be so good, I ruined it for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's only happened twice in my life. It usually always works because I go into it saying, give me all that you can give me
Right.
that I can give. You know what I'm saying?
Selflessly.
And you've seen me do it live where I talk about
It feels to me like you'd be going through the process wrong, almost putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you
Yes.
another thing that
I did, and I knew it.
But please don't feel bad.
No,
oh
no.
my goodness.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, but you know,
if you go back into biblical and Bible stories where they had prophets and people were around, it wasn't that they were sitting there reading people or doing this kind of stuff. They would get a message. They never knew when it was. In fact, in the Bible, there was a big gap where there was no prophecy. God was not talking. God was like pissed off and he's like, screw you guys. I'm not even talking to you. So it went for a very long time before they got a word from God.
right?
So God was acting like my ex-girlfriend?
God gave us the silent treatment.
He had enough of the Jews. He's like, enough of you guys. I'm pissed off. And so he didn't speak to them. But then what would happen is God would go through somebody. They were the spokesperson for God. And that would just be it. They would just have a message. And be like, this is what God wants me to tell you. And to me, I look at that and people are like going, why don't we have prophets today? I'm like, I don't know that we don't.
Right.
I think there's still a lot of people out there that have this gift. It sounds like you are one of them.
Right.
But it's not up to you. You have the gift. You're just the mouthpiece for it.
Exactly.
That when it comes to you, it goes through you. And that's why I don't necessarily like when people do a reading and they're like, you got to tell me what happened to Sammy 17 years ago. And you're like, oh, here's what happened to Sammy. And they make something up because that message is not supposed to come out. And I think that's why they don't want you dabbling with psychics and mediums because they're like, we'll tell you what you need to be told.
Right.
You don't get to just come to us and ask any questions that you want.
Gotcha.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Like sometimes I've done readings with daughters and they do not have a great relationship with their fathers, you know,
Yeah.
and they were not good to them, right? And the first thing they say is, I just don't want to connect to my father. Well, guess who comes in first?
Father.
Always the father.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I tell them that your father apologizes for when you were 3 years old and he like stuff that
Right.
it literally comes out of my mouth and I forget it a lot of times, you know?
Yep.
And then at the end of it, she goes, oh my God, thanks so much for bringing my father through. You know, like because
Yeah.
for years
It's healing.
they heal,
Right.
they hold.
Yeah.
When I heard you guys say the other day that somebody's spending $15,000 on a medium, whatever, those are charlatans because let me tell you something. I don't do it for that. I only do it to help people make it through the rest of their life better than they are now because they're home, they're drinking, they're sad all the time. And if I could bring one bit of happiness to them that their loved one is waiting for them when it's their time, then that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Now I told you I pulled away from it now
Yes.
because it was really stressful for me because every time I would go do a reading, I would get very sick. I would get nauseous for days.
Nervous.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I can imagine. At first, it's emotional.
It's emotional
What
and
you're
I want to
doing.
be good.
And yeah,
You know?
But then also too, I mean, I could see where that would strain you having.
And I don't want to die early because of
Right.
putting stress on my heart because I'm giving a reading to somebody. Doesn't make
Right,
sense?
right.
Yeah.
You're not going to be sacrificing your own body
No.
Right.
for this.
But now, what I love is I've been doing massage therapy for 30 years, and I feel like I was drawn to it because I felt like I was really good at the beginning because I could feel muscles and I could feel where I'm supposed to go without even knowing. Right?
pain. You can feel the pain.
Right. So I feel like my gift comes through instead of through my mouth, through my hands.
Okay.
And I
Touch.
use it that way.
I
Yeah.
love it.
That's how the medium thing happened with a pedicure that I did. It was touching somebody's feet. And it was Mary, not Ann.
Sorry, I got the name wrong.
Okay. So basically, I used to work at a nail salon, and there was a girl that was pregnant, and I said, your baby is going to be December 27th, girl C-section. We did the pool thing, and she was born December 27th, girl C-section. And the next girl, Diana, goes, when's my baby due? And I said, February 17th, girl C-section. And then she had her baby February 17th, girl C-section.
Wow.
So on February 19th, I go into work, and they're like, she had her baby. I'm like, oh, my God.
Wow.
I was right with 2 people.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I can predict.
Do you think
Okay,
at this point,
all
do you think,
psychics are not mediums, but all mediums are psychics. Does that make sense?
explain it to say it
Okay.
again.
So all psychics are not mediums, but all mediums are psychics.
Got it.
So the medium, in a sense, you're talking about somebody.
Mediums means I don't need to have a card.
Yeah, you're just the spirits are working through you.
Through me, like
That's what a medium
like
is.
a speaker.
And a psychic is what? Somebody that has
Does cards,
Yeah.
reads tea leaves, reads
Pictures.
they
pictures
may
or
need
whatever.
a tool to help them
a
open up
tool
what things are.
to kind of, this card means this, so this means this, and this means this.
Yeah.
Do you ever have animals come through? Do you ever see any kind of
All
animals?
the time.
You do.
All the time.
What's the difference between seeing an animal and then a
Not a
human?
goddamn thing.
Really?
And
No.
what do you get from an animal then? What does it tell you? Do you-
Because, okay,
are you seeing
you
an
have to
animal on
understand,
another
here's what it
plane,
is.
or
No, no,
is
no, no,
this
no,
part
no,
of the
no.
message?
animals have souls just like a person, right? So they go through life learning things.
I wondered that. That's actually my question. You
Okay.
believe they do?
1,000,000%. So when you are here on Earth and say, you did bad things, right? And then you die. The soul inside that body is inherently not a bad soul. It was stuck inside this body and had to live inside of a body that listened to its devil instead of its good side. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's what we've
Yeah.
been talking
So
about.
what happens is when it dies, your body's done. You're no
Yeah.
longer here anymore. Kevin with the hair and this and that, not here anymore.
Oh, the hair dies?
And that's gone.
You go to heaven bald,
But the
dog.
soul that's inside his body
It's rough.
that has learned the lessons that he's been through goes to a place. Now, I don't know if there's a heaven. I don't know if there's a hell. I think that it's just energetically where we go, because I have had readings where somebody had murdered somebody and the person came through to get a reading, and the girl that was murdered, her name was Amity. And how I got her name was I saw the Amity Horrorville movie.
Yeah.
And I said, is her name Amity? She goes, shut up. And then once I got that, my brain just went boop. So the more confident I am, my brain opens up more.
Gotcha.
So the more I get right, the better I am.
What are your thoughts on working cold cases? If there was something where I asked specific questions, would you get messages, or is that too much pressure to try?
I don't know if I would, because that's not my scope that I have kind of like cultivated. Does it make sense?
Sure, yeah.
But I do believe in it.
Yeah, I know there's been some psychics that have done that
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
where they believe that it helped find a body or maybe a clue of sorts.
Yeah, yeah. My thing has not happened yet with that because I've not tried to do that. Mine has been more of talking to persons that have passed away to help somebody live their life better now. That's all I'm about. I'm not about you coming into me and giving you advice on how to get a new house or get a new. Now, mind you, it could come through if I've
Sure.
already connected to a spirit and I'm confident. I'll go, are you buying a new house then? Because I see that you're buying a new house. Mind you, I didn't know that.
Right.
I am buying a new house. It's because my tuning is already tuned. So whatever comes through because it's supposed to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Let's-
agree.
Let's say you walk through a murder scene, okay, where,
Oh,
where a body was found. Do you think that would make your messages come through stronger, or still you don't know that?
Stronger, and I'll tell you why. Do you remember back probably 5 years ago in Royal Palm where a daughter murdered her mother? It was in Royal
No.
Palm.
I don't remember, but
There's so many murders.
Well, so I lived 2 doors down
oh,
from it. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I get a knock on my door, and it was a police officer. And I go, what did I do? And they were like, do you know the people that live in the house on the corner? And I go, well, there's one girl that I know of, but she's kind of not very nice. She's not, she's scary, I said, is everything okay? And they're like, everything's not okay.
oh shit.
So the daughter was on Flocka, and she murdered her mother.
Oh my gosh! Right down the street from you.
2 doors down.
Oh.
We still call it the murder house.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
I
sorry,
get it.
Fran. Sorry, Fran. So I go in my house, and all of a sudden, I start feeling how Fran died.
And that was the mom.
Within 5 seconds, yeah. And I'm not
What
going
are
to
you
talk about it,
feeling?
but it
What are
was.
these sensations like?
I started feeling being cut. I started feeling.
Oh my
like,
gosh!
Did she stab her?
She cut her eyes out and put them in.
Oh my gosh!
And
I wasn't ready.
I know, I told you. So my friend is a police officer, and he Facebooked me, and I asked him what happened, and he goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. It's all secret."
And you knew the details that were secret.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So because it was so new and so fresh, Fran was still
Yeah.
here-ish. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. She hadn't completely crossed over.
and well, here's the thing. I feel like I have a light kind of like going up to the universe where people can see it. Like I was in a grocery store once at Publix, and I was in the meat section.
As one is.
As one is.
Looking for
And
some
I
beef.
felt somebody say, "That's my daughter. Tell her that I'm here." And I said, "I got to go real quick. So if your daughter's going to find me, she'll find me." And I had to say it in my head, like whatever. 2 weeks later, I get a call, a text, whatever, to meet somebody. I make a meeting. I go to my office, and it's the woman that was at the meat section.
It's the lady from the meat section that you didn't talk to?
So you have to understand, people can believe it or not. I don't give a shit. Okay?
Yeah.
I was given this gift to help people, but I feel like I have to help myself
Yes.
and not make myself stressed out because it's not good for me. And
Yeah.
I'm busy with my therapy now that I do with massage,
Massage.
and I'm helping them too
Yeah.
because I'm a good therapist. But what's happened a couple of times is at the end, when I'm doing like the very end part of it, I'll feel like somebody coming through, and I'll go, okay, if I sit down in my chair and they sit down across, which they never do, it's going to happen. Well, what do you know? They sit down in front of me, and then it just starts happening. And this woman's mother was dying, and she had cancer, and it was crazy. So a month later, she comes in, and I go, "Did your mom pass away?" She goes, "She did." I said, "Did you buy her a heart-shaped locket for her ashes?" She goes, "Oh my God, I can't find it." And I said, "You'll find it." And she called me up. She goes, "I went home and I found it." So
Aww.
it's just, when it happens now, it's natural, and I love it because
Yes, right.
it doesn't make sense.
Well, this feels.
I
to
feel
me
less
like,
stress. I feel
Yes.
less everything.
I feel like this is the way it should be done.
Right.
I feel like
However, I feel like
you're filling out a purpose. I mean,
Right.
my belief, the creator, you were given this gift and you're using
Right.
it the way that it is supposed to. And you're getting messages to people here on this plane that need them. They need that kind of comfort.
Right, in essence, but I also feel like I was given this gift so when I can't do massage anymore because of my hands, I'll have a avenue to make money
Okay.
in the right way
Right.
Sure.
rather than being, because I only charge $100 but I go for like 2 hours. Like I don't put a time limit on it. I just go when
It's
I go.
a great bargain.
Sometimes I'll do it for $50 if they can't afford it. I'll go, just give me $50. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Was there,
So it's not about money to me. It's about helping them, but it's my time, and I got to get out of my house, and I got to shower, and I got to drive I have
And
an
you gotta-
office that I pay for. I rent my office. I have to, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and they don't care because they want help. But I do not like when I hear people say, "I just went to my psychic. I go once a week, and she tells me to put things underneath my bed to create money." No, that's not.
yeah.
You can't do that.
And that's how I feel like people think a lot of mediums are, but it's not the same thing because I literally just want to help you. That's all I want to do. I don't want to take your money just to take it because that makes me a bad person.
Right.
And I always feel like I have a good soul, and I feel like you know that. I mean, I've known,
Yes.
just so you know, Virginia, I've known her for 24 years. We've never had an argument. We've never had.
Never.
It's crazy. I've known her for 21 years, and I've had 75 arguments with her just this year.
I think you're the only person I've ever met that has not had an argument with Virginia.
And I'll tell you why. And I think maybe this is me just being whatever, but I feel feel like she knows my soul is not
Yes.
that person to
I
do that
do.
with. Does that make sense?
You are such a sweet human, and I've enjoyed watching you develop this talent
Right.
and help so many of our little Smiles parents.
Who are I still?
I know. You
connect
talk
with.
to all of them. They connect. They love him. They would jump in front of a train for you, catch a
Right.
bullet for you.
Right.
Like, they love Jeff because Jeff has given them something that they never thought they would have when their kid died. Their kid died, and they felt this immense
Yeah.
grief that you can't even explain. And Jeff gave them a little less grief,
Right.
a little less pain, a little less worry about your dead kid. Your kid's okay, Jeff tells them, and he tells them like all these things, and then
that I
it makes-
never knew. Like, so I've known her for a long time. So when I came out to her, I was so nervous because I knew that she was skeptical.
very of everyone.
Yeah, and so she goes, "Here's what we're gonna do." She goes, "I want you to come to my house. I'm gonna invite 2 people over, and you're gonna give them a reading." So I drive all the way to Cuesta. I sit in her living room, and then she brings in Barbie and Catherine. Catherine, right?
Catherine. Barbie is Maddie's mom, Maddie's Fight Foundation. Maddie passed away. And Catherine is another Little Smiles mom that we haven't had a lot on the show, but we love her just as much.
Right.
She's an early Little Smiles
Early
mom.
little boy, yeah.
Way, her son died. Robert was his
Robert,
name. Robert died a long time ago.
So she was recording it on on her cell phone, and I wanted because I'm like, let's just do this, whatever. So I start with Robert, and it goes good, and then I just felt this little tug for like Maddie, like it's my time to talk. So I go to Barbie and I start talking, and I go, I see the color purple. Was that her favorite color?
Yes, and that's a big thing with Maddie's Fight. Is
Right.
everything is purple. That is the tent.
Mind you, I
the
don't.
chairs.
I never heard of them
Yeah.
ever because I just haven't. So then my brain went boop, even bigger than with Robert because I felt more with this one, right? And I said, I never got to wear my purple dress. And then I said, I'm seeing the movie Splash. I'm seeing the name Madison, and that was her name.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then just bigger. And then I said, why is there something with like, I don't know, like Spider-Man or I don't know. I mean, whatever it was. And she said it changed her. It changed her because
Spider-Man was her favorite, and there's no way Jeff would have known that.
And I don't know if I did. I mean, I just feel like I did say something, but I forget because it's just like a radio.
Here it and gone.
It plays a song and then it's over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that is something that will always resonate with me, that you trusted me enough to bring these people in. And then we started our podcast. Every time we did this podcast, I'm like, God, I hope she cancels. I hope she cancels.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He would get so nervous and so worked up.
Yeah.
I would literally have to like say, talk him off a ledge. But I
Yeah.
get it. I understand why it makes you so stressed, and I don't want that for you either.
No, I
because
know.
I
I know.
love you, and I just think your health is the most important.
Right. So that's why I wanted to come on here to let people know that if they want to have this gift, they have to believe in it, and they have to understand that it's a sacrifice to yourself. To
It takes you carry a burden.
You carry a
with it.
burden.
Yep.
And I remember that you said that you want to go to like a place and learn how to kind of develop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing that with Vicky, with our weird
Vicky White, right?
No,
Vicky-
Burnett.
Okay, no, I don't know her. But just if you want to do it, you have to go into it with full on openness. You can't. It's not a joke. It's not like make fun of it or because they're up there watching you already, saying, "Oh no, we're not going to let him have this gift if it's not going to be given in the right context."
Right.
Does it make sense? So
Your heart, I'm sure, has to be in
So
the
I
right
want you to
place.
go
Has
into
have
it. Just really go into it open. Really, I'm gonna just throw the shit to the wind and just do it.
Yeah.
Do you think, because you do have a very pure soul and pure heart, do you think that plays a part in it?
I
in
do,
being
but there's also
chosen?
people that have it that use it for the wrong, and they are real. There
right.
are
I
real
can see that
mediums.
too.
They have it, and they don't use it for the right thing. You know
It's
what I'm
like
saying?
a Harry Potter kind of thing, with the world of wizardry. You've got the
Right,
good,
because
the
I've
bad,
known
and-
mediums that said you're going to die when you're 30. So then, for the whole frickin' their lives,
They're all worried about when they turn 30.
and you know what happened? they died when they were 30. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But so for the whole rest of their life,
Oh wow.
Right.
I don't do that shit.
You wouldn't say that to somebody. Yeah.
No.
Wow. So you may have a message that you just like, I can't.
I've
give you
seen him
that.
do it. I've seen him have
wow.
something that was bad news and not give it.
Because that's not my job to give you to
No.
give you more stress in your life. That
You're
makes
supposed
sense?
to be
Yes,
making
it
people
does.
feel better, not feel worse.
So as it's coming to you, in a sense, you have to filter then
It's
too.
almost like when you're on a train and it has those little where you can go
Yeah.
left or
Branch
right.
off.
Branch
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
The bad one just does this. That makes sense.
Takes off.
It just kind of takes
Yeah.
to the left direction,
go.
and I let it go because my journey is not to make you leave here and go, I cannot believe you just told me that I'm going to be
It's a tough
30
thing.
when I die.
Dead by 30.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to be dead by 30, then that's going to, I still want you to live your life the
Right.
best that you can until you're 30.
You're not going to be able to. 29 is going to suck so hard because all you're doing is worrying about when you're dead by 30.
Well, there was a woman that I know from the salon, and one of the girls that I worked with, she was a medium. She was good. I mean, she could tell if you're hurting. She could tell if you're this, but she would also just blurt out the things that people were like, okay, I'm good now. You know, I'm
Right.
They
good.
didn't wanna
I
hear.
don't want to know
Yeah.
that.
And she told this woman she's going to get cancer when she's 50, and she has cancer now, but she's surviving. But she remembers that. She remembers that.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
She didn't necessarily want
But
that message.
too much information.
Couldn't some bad news and letting somebody know, couldn't that also turn into good news so they can prevent certain things from happening?
But these things where they die from are all natural things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, Jason. I mean, I just feel like I was given my job as a person that does this is to give them positive stuff to make their lives more positive.
Better.
That's a burden alone.
Go to
for
somewhere
you.
else for
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
If
I
you
don't want
wanna
to be.
know when
I don't want to
you're-
be that person that
Right.
gives that news. Does that make sense? And I get what you're saying, 100%.
If you knew I was going to get hit by a bus in 6 months, a heads up.
But I don't know if I would get that.
got ya.
I don't know how to get that.
Got ya.
You can't control it. You're getting what
No.
you're getting.
I have no control over it, and that's why I tell people I don't know how I do it. Do I have schizophrenia? Do I, like I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
I don't know, but I know that when I give it, people are happier when it's over, and I feel like a huge
Yeah.
weight lifting off me. You know, I had a friend of mine. You were talking about being in a state where you get crazy, or you know, like
Menopause?
no. So a friend of mine, her daughter was murdered 2 years ago from her boyfriend.
Oh.
And I've known Renee since I was in junior high school, my first girl kiss.
Oh.
Wow.
She still talks about it. So,
Couldn't turn him.
right, couldn't. So, her boyfriend murdered her and her father
Oh my gosh.
and shot my friend Renee. I don't know if I can talk about this, but so I said to her after her daughter died, I said, when you were there, did you see his eyes just kind of like glaze over? She goes, Jeff, it was like he was normal. And then all of a sudden, I just saw
Possession.
a possession.
Yeah.
He did the act. And then after it was over with, his eyes came back. And he goes, what did I just do?
Oh my
So I do believe in
demonic temporary possession.
possession. You know, I do believe that people can be taken over from jealousy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And now he's in jail forever because
One moment.
one moment, you know? So that's the devil in the
Yeah.
angel. You have to say,
You
if
have to-
I do this, I'm going to be in trouble.
Pause.
Pause
and really
before you
listen.
listen.
Listen to the devil. Listen to the angel. Hear them both out. And then react.
And you feed voices.
Yes.
You feed voices. Everything you surround yourself with in life, it is.
And it was
having
all
an
over
effect on you.
jealousy.
Wow.
Talking
Talking
know-
on text message.
Well, he probably played into it. He probably allowed jealousy to grow and these negative feelings that
Yeah.
you have. And that's why I think you have to be mindful of what energy is in your body. Are you having positive energy that's ruling your day? Or are you letting negative energy
Right.
and bad self-talk take over?
Right. And here's the thing, too. Like with me, like I always try to be like as even keeled as possible. But there are times where, like, with my husband and stuff, like I can be bitchy and he goes, you are so bitchy. And I go, I don't live in that space.
Yeah.
But I have my issues too. I'm not perfect, you know,
Right,
and I
right.
always feel so bad afterwards because he is the nicest
He is.
person in the world.
Hey,
and
Zeus, shout out.
I found Jesus. Okay. So basically, I have to also listen to the same exact thing. If I say that to him, am I going to hurt his feelings, or am I going to, you know? So I'm trying every time. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Yeah.
We need to do that to everybody in our life to let them know that I didn't mean to hurt you. It was my fault that I let myself get overtaken by something. I felt like I became a better person having this gift because I pay more attention. And here's an analogy that I always tell people. We all have people in our lives that we see and we're like, oh my God, there's Shirley.
Oh, Shirley.
And we got to see Shirley, right?
Oh shit, there's Virginia.
So,
She saw me.
right. So imagine that you're a tree, and on your tree branch are apples, friends, family, whatever. And all of a sudden, one of your apples gets a worm in it. Do you take out the worm and leave it and let the space grow bigger and bigger? That could basically become a rotten apple, or do you take the whole apple off your tree branch and let the nutrients give all the nutrients to the good apples? So these are friends that you've had in your life that every time you see them, they make you feel bad, or they make you not want to be there.
Right.
You let them know, I'm so sorry, but I can't have you in my life anymore because
You're not on my
what you're
tree.
doing to me, and they either would go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, or they will go, fuck you then. I don't need you. And then all of a sudden,
They're confirming, in a sense.
they're confirming my
Gut.
theory,
Yeah.
my gut,
Yeah.
because they could want to fix it or they don't want to fix it.
Right.
Yep.
I'm 54 years old. I do not want the rest of my life to be with somebody in my life that does not give me nutrients, does not give me energy, does not give me joy, does not give me happiness.
Amen.
Makes
That
sense?
is
So it's up to you,
true.
you and you. If you can get rid of the negative stuff that affects you, your whole life will become so much more clear, so much more open and refreshing. That makes sense? I don't know.
You talked about walking down the path to develop this skill, and there's probably people that are listening that feel like they might have it. It sounds like you need a sense of clarity, so you need maybe a little balance in your life to
Right.
be able to maximize this. Are there any other day-to-day things that you would do to develop?
Meditation is the most, for me, was the most important thing. And how I did it, I did guided meditation for mediums, you know, on
Okay.
YouTube or whatever.
Okay.
And I put in my little headphones and it would help you balance your chakras, or you would help you. But at the beginning, when you do meditation, all this shit comes into your brain.
Right. That's why I can't get it. I can't do it. I've tried.
I don't like when people say that because meditation takes a long time to practice.
long time to
I
practice.
didn't give it any time.
So it took,
I tried like
I've
two
done it
times.
for years. So here's how I get the thoughts out of my mind. I imagine a broom sweeping those thoughts out, right? And then all of a sudden, it gets less and less and less. And then you're able to go into a zone within like minutes.
Wow.
You know?
It's a training.
It's
Sounds
training.
like.
So when I do a reading, I kind of sit there and I relax and I kind of go into a zone. And then I clang my little bells
Yeah.
to tell them that I'm ready. And then I go and do what I do. So it's just important to kind of even go to like groups where you can go and learn how to develop it. You know, how I kind of understand with me was I went to a metaphysical church, and there's a guy named Justin Terry. He's incredible. And I was sitting in my little chair and I'm waiting, and he walks up to me and he goes, huh, Roger, is that your grandfather? I said, that's my grandfather. He goes, you know, he had the gift. He died in 1983 at 63. I was 13. But he didn't realize it until after he had died that he had this gift. He might have known it, but
He hid it.
he was born in 1919. You know what I mean? It's like-
Right.
He was Southern Baptist.
no, he was not. He was Catholic. This is my mom. My mom's side was
Gotcha.
Catholic. My dad's side
Okay.
is Southern Baptist. My mom converted.
Okay.
So, and then he says, he's your helper. He's the one that gives you your messages, your energy, you know, whatever you do. So
Wow.
even though I didn't only had 13 years with my grandpa
Yeah.
on earth, I have him in my
Yeah.
spiritual.
Did you have a good relationship with him when
we
he was
did.
alive?
We did. Yeah.
That's
We
sweet.
did. I mean, I was young. I mean, I was,
Yeah.
a hyper active roller skating, competing, gay kid, but he loved me.
I was a lot.
Yeah, I was a lot to handle. But I think a lot of people that have this gift are a lot to handle because it's so much energy that you have. And it can create, that's why I did my dancing, and that's why it helped me burn off all these energy, because I was getting anxiety when I was little, but then I got over it, and then it came back again. It's kind of that
It's hard
kind
to
of
have
thing.
a calm, clear mind to hear messages when
Right.
Yeah.
So then Justin goes, Little, I'm saying the name Little. Little Jerry, that's my cousin who died on Flight 93. And he goes, he came to you that day when he died.
When the
that's
plane crashed.
When the plane crashed. And that's why I had the anxiety that day. And then my cousin Kelly called me and told me little Jerry died.
Wow.
So I got that gift. So my cousin that died knew that I had it because of my I guess I must
The
have.
beacon that you're
the
sending
beacon
up.
that I was
Yeah.
sending
He
up.
gets there to the other side. He's like, this is somebody
This
I
is
know.
Jeff. Oh my God. This is,
Wow.
Look, he's a Christmas tree. He's a beacon
Unreal.
all lit up.
That's
So
something.
all of this made sense to me. So this is early in my development, so it's like 2013 maybe. And so then I just started getting more things happening, just more stuff happening, and then I would do pedicures, and people would book to have me give them a reading, but the spirits knew that.
Yeah.
So guess what would happen? They wouldn't get one
Oh.
because they were. So then at the end, I'm doing their polish. They go, I heard you were a medium, and I go, oh.
Oh.
And then once I get it, then I might give them a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
But people started using me to
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
So when it was natural,
funny.
it was better.
When it's
Yeah.
done the right way, it's better.
Yeah.
And I remember I gave you a reading once when your friend, the florist guy, was
Yes.
killed, and
that was crazy.
and then
Freddie. Rest in peace, Freddie.
I gave Panda one where Rochelle Skull.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Kristen.
Kristen.
The news anchor that he was very good friends with, passed
And then
away
he
from
got
breast
one
cancer.
real quick, just little something.
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Hello.
So sometimes I just give little.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's so that's when I enjoy doing it. So I just want people to know that it is real. We all have it. It's almost like a chamber in our brain that we can't access. Do you know when they say you have a kid that once your baby is in your arms, all of a sudden you just get this flush of like
Love.
love?
Yeah.
Like I could never love anything
Yeah.
this
More.
much.
Yeah.
I had a chamber of medium that opened up, and then I got that same exact
Rush.
rush when I was doing the thing for Mary. So my first reading ever was I was given a reading, and I got really sick. I was feeling really sick, and the girl goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "I don't know, but who?" So I didn't take time to do anything.
Yeah.
I said, "Who's Mary who died in a car accident in a snowstorm in North Carolina?" She goes, "My Aunt Mary died in a car accident in North Carolina."
Boop.
Wow.
And I said, "Who's Coco? Is that her dog?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Was she in the back seat?" "Yeah."
Did Coco die?
"Oh yeah, Coco." Sorry, Coco. So then I said, "I see the number 3. Did they find her 3 days later? Because I feel like she was covered in snow." And then
Oh.
and then this girl next to me starts crying, getting her feet done.
Yeah.
And I go, "I'm so sorry. I have no idea what I'm doing." I said,
I'm just making everyone cry.
Yeah, it's
I said, "But
spiritual
who's
diarrhea.
Thomas?" She goes, "That's my grandfather." I said, "Did he die of colon cancer?" "Yeah." This girl doing these nails goes, "This is the devil's work. This is the devil's work." So she was freaking out. She was not having a good time sitting there doing this shit. She goes, "Ah." Well, guess what? 3 days later, she quit because it wasn't. She had just started, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
She couldn't handle it.
couldn't handle it. And that's how it happened.
Right.
So then, because Diana had her baby on February 17th, and February 19th is when I went in to do my next work.
And they were
then-
like, okay, he's legit.
now he's legit. Let's let him have him do it. And then all of a sudden, the other girl that I said that gave the bad up, she started getting it too.
Oh, wow.
Like after she saw that it kind of opened up all these channels with other people.
Wow.
That's
Makes sense?
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Honestly, just hearing you walk through your gift and how it all works. It's
It's just something that I love it,
yeah.
but I know that right now it's not my time to do it because unless it happens naturally. I don't want to
Right. Good
have you come pay me and come sit at my table that's sitting right in my massage room with my little bells still.
Yeah.
So they say, what's your table? I said, I'm a medium too. Like, you know. So then I said, it doesn't work like that. You know, I'm not drinking anymore. And then all of a sudden I do the massage and it'll happen.
Something comes through. Yeah.
That's great.
However, if they don't ask about it, then it doesn't really happen. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
It almost like makes my spirit guides or whatever you want to call them kind of peak up a little bit if they need it. You know what I'm saying?
But if they don't speak it, then they must not need it.
And then I just use it for my hands. I mean,
Gotcha.
literally, with my massage therapy, I used to work on 2 famous tennis players. I'm not going to say their names. And I felt like it taught me how to be better because when I was working on them, I could feel like all these pains and aches, and I would go to them and I'm like, oh my God, am I using my gift to, because, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it made me better because I was able to work with physiotherapists. I was able to work with physical therapists. I was able to work. So now I parlayed that into my life where I have a niche therapy that I do. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't do just Swedish massage. I don't do anything.
Right.
But I use my gift as a medium to be a better massage therapist. That sounds weird, but it is what it is.
It makes sense, and it works for you.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that's it. And what you're talking about, I think for everybody out there, you recognize what your skills are, what your gifts are. You were given gifts, and
Right.
with your personality and who you are, if you just foster the abilities that I believe the Creator has given you, then
Right.
you'll find really what your purpose is. And it sounds like you've taken this interesting journey, and you are where you are. You've got a gift, and you're using it to help people.
Right.
And I think it's an amazing thing.
It's amazing, and it's almost like with your wife. Every time I see her, it's like it's always so much fun when I see Kim. And
Yeah.
but I've never given her a reading because I've never felt that energy to do. 'Cause
She don't need it.
Well, her energy is so strong.
Her energy
it's
is
so
fine.
Right.
fine
Yeah.
that I just
Right.
love being. You know.
I'd be scared if anything opened up. I really would. It would be like Ghostbusters.
but when she sees me, she's always
There'd be-
like,
I would take off running. I'd get on a
Like,
train.
Jeff! You know, yeah, you know.
I would get out of state. Yes.
But all I tell people is just if you feel like you have something, work on it. Try to develop it for you first.
Yep.
Because I listen to my bells and whistles that I get for myself. Like if it says, Jeff, if you take this left on this way, you're going to get traffic. If you make a right, you're going to miss traffic. And then I go left, and then there's traffic. You know what I'm saying? So I go,
Right.
why didn't you listen to your cars? You know, like
Listen.
listen better.
Yeah.
Listen to
your own voices.
Listen
and
to your own voices
premonition.
better. You know, and that's just be more aware.
Jeff, I appreciate you taking the time and walking us down this.
Oh,
'cause
thank you so
was-
much for having me. It was
beautiful.
fun to
It
come
was
in and just
so
explain it.
fascinating. Yes.
Thank you.
I really do love that. So thank you, and thanks for everybody that was here. I was drinking it in and loving every little bit of it. And I know people would love to contact you. I'll work with Virginia on that because I know you're kind of taking a pause on it. But
I know people were reaching out to me still, but I just have to
yeah.
take a.
If it ever happens, we'll let our audience know.
Because right now I'm so busy with what I'm doing right now, and I'm tired. I mean, my work is very tiring, and readings make me even more tired because they use my energy, my mental energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You'll do it again
I
when
will.
it feels right for you, and it'll happen organically.
Yeah, I just wanted to come here for you to ask questions about what you think about it is. And,
Yeah. I
what is-
loved it. You answered all my questions.
Awesome.
I appreciate you being so open today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everybody for sitting here through it. All right, Virginia, you are released. You're done for the year.
Yay! I'm
Look
going
out.
to get a mini facelift tomorrow.
Yep. She'll have a new face in
Just
2025.
These
Just a little
gel-
something?
Just a little nip, a little
Yep.
tuck.
Jeff, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you again. Y'all have a good one. We are back live, the rest of us, where we'll get into our feelings on tomorrow's KVJ show. Y'all be good.